everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Surrounded by Bourbon with me, Phil Crawford, aka Causeway Whiskey, and this is episode 12. Today we are looking at 1792 small batch Kentucky straight bourbon. So we're back with the Sazerac brands. We've looked at McAfee's, Buffalo Trace, but we're a different distillery this time. So we're leaving the Buffalo Trace distillery and we're going to the 1792 Barton distillery, which was actually founded in 1879, but the 1792 part comes from the year that Kentucky became a state. So the distillery itself sits on 196 acres of land in Bardstown, Kentucky, and the distillery has its own spring. It has 29 barrel aging warehouses that are 7 stories tall and have 3 ricks per level, meaning that there is quite significant change in maturation between the top and the bottom levels. It's also apparently the 7th largest distillery in the world, produces 51 different brands. Kind of crazy. Like a lot of whiskies that we know and love, the branding has went through various iterations. The 1792 small batch used to be known as the Ridgewood Reserve, and then following a trademark infringement dispute with Brown-Forman, it was then called the 1792 Ridgemont Reserve, and at that time it carried an 8-year age statement on the front as well. That was removed in 2013, just before the rebrand to what we see today as the 1792 small batch, which is a no age statement expression. So not sure what the age is, and I did try to do a bit of research out there, but I couldn't really find what they reckon the ages are. The only thing I did see was that the very old Barton, which these guys also make, is apparently a 4 to 6 year old. I guess that that's actually like their kind of entry level product from the Barton distillery. So who knows, this could be 5 to 7, a bit older. If anybody does know, maybe you could hit me up in the comments and let me know. That would be very useful, and useful to anybody else that watches the video. But the brand has a raft of other expressions. I have a few more behind me there. So there's expressions such as the sweet wheat, there's a high rye, there's a malt and bond, the single barrel, and also the full proof. So I will get around to reviewing the ones that I have in my cabinet at some point. But yeah, this still falls into like the budget bourbon territory just by the skin of its teeth. It costs $24.99 I got this for in Total Wine. And this is 46.85% ABV or 93.7% proof, and not much information out there about their mash bill other than it is corn, rye and malted barley, and that supposedly this is a high rye mash bill. So the rye is believed to be about 15 to 25% of the mash bill, but no specifics out there that I can find. Anyway, let's get on with the tasting notes and let's see what we can make of 1792 small batch. So, nose. So straight away, the rye in the mash definitely is apparent. There's clove, there's nutmeg, there's a bit of garden mint in there as well, which is really nice. There's toasted oak and some dried orange peel as well. And there's a fruitiness to this, so there's like some red apples in there, a little bit of nuttiness. And then the kind of standard bourbon style notes of like caramel, vanilla, and just a hint of milk chocolate as well. So it's a nice nose, very pleasant indeed. Maybe not quite as expressive as the Buffalo Trace, but it's pretty good. So let's try the palate. Mouth feels pretty good, kind of like a medium body, and there is definitely a rye spice kick on the arrival to this. So there's like cracked black pepper, There's some clove, there's some nutmeg, and some spicy oak as well from that charred virgin oak. That garden mint is also there, kind of showing a nice balance between the nose and the palate so far. And we get some of the vanillins. There's caramel, butterscotch, peanut brittle. There's also a touch of new leather to this as well. I'll go for one little more sip to see if we can get something else. There's definitely a herbal note to this as well, but it's like on the lighter side, kind of maybe like fresh dill. And then just right at the end, there's a little bit of astringency, which kind of tempers out the sweetness as well. So like, very pleasant drinking whiskey this. You've got a bit of sweet, you've got a bit of spice, you've got a bit of oak. There's enough stuff going on here to keep you interested and engaged. Finish wise, finish is just about medium in length. With the caramel, the oak is quite prevalent, as are the baking spice kind of notes as well, the clove and cinnamon and so on. So overall, what do I think of 1792? Well, since I have moved here, this has pretty much become my daily sipper. For $25 a bottle, I really think there's not a lot you can argue with in this. It's presented well with the higher ABV. It's well constructed and put together. The fact that the bottle looks nice as well is a nice aside. As a Scotchman that I know very well once said on a podcast, it could come wrapped in a brown paper bag, who cares, as long as it tastes nice. So yes, and thankfully the liquid live up to the bottle as well. It's really versatile. Again, could be used for cocktail bases, it could be used over ice if that's your thing. But honestly, this is like a really great sipping whiskey. It's inexpensive, it's high quality, and I'm going to score this a 6 out of 10. Yep, it's not the most complex thing in the world, but for $25, I think it'll be hard pushed to find many other whiskies that are as good as this. And it's interesting so far in my journey. I know that we've had a few like low score whiskies, but it is whiskies like this, and even like the Buffalo Trace, even the Maker's Mark, and even the entry level Wild Turkey. They're not expensive whiskies, and as an Irishman, it makes me sad that I'm kind of like, I can't really advocate some of the entry level Irish expressions that you can get over here over these, because they definitely deliver more flavour, more punch. But as I say, later on in this journey we will get into some Irish and Scotch, and hopefully we can start putting things right in that regard. But anyway, yeah, thank you very much for joining along and for watching. Definitely buy this. This is a whiskey score, one that you could have on your shelf all the time, and it's inexpensive that you don't have to worry about replacing it. $25, great deal. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, sláinte, have a great day, whatever you're doing, and thank you for watching. And again, please like, subscribe, and especially comment as well, just so we can get a bit of discourse going about other expressions that you think I should be trying to taste, and other avenues that, especially if you are already a bourbon aficionado, that maybe I need to go and explore. Alright, have a good night. Bye.